I'm no good at taking good advice, and I'm self-careless, so don't tell me twice that lately I've been so stuck in my head that I forget just about everything my therapist said. Maybe I'm self-helpless. Maybe I'm self-helpless. Maybe I'm self-helpless. Maybe we are all self-helpless.
Hey everyone, welcome to Self-Helpless. I'm Delanie Fischer, and today I'm chatting with Kia, who is a part of our subscriber series that we're doing over the summer, where I get to talk with listeners of Self-Helpless who want to share their story in order to help any of you who may resonate with it. And Kia and I discuss all of the changes that she made after hitting what she described as her rock bottom. She was in an unhealthy relationship at the time and mentioned that she had been in a pattern of picking partners who were not good for her. She was an emotional drinker who was using alcohol to really numb out and escape. She wasn't doing work that she enjoyed. She felt very stuck and hopeless. And now, a few years later, she's in an awesome relationship. She doesn't drink and she has routines and habits that make her feel great. She's doing work that she's excited about. And most importantly, she says that she truly loves and values herself. So, the turning point for Kia when she realized that she didn't know how to break this cycle that she was in, she checked herself into a 30-day rehab program. And I'm so glad that she talked about this because when we often talk about rehab or, getting help, in this way, we assume that someone is either an alcoholic or has some kind of substance issue. But she basically realized that she needed to learn coping skills that she just didn't have, and she needed to heal trauma. And we can all be addicted to different things, and addiction to unhealthy behaviors and patterns is definitely part of that. So you don't have to hit rock bottom with a substance issue in order to get help and get into some kind of program. So she's sharing about her experience with that process, the first steps that she took when she got out of her program in order to start to rebuild her life, her favorite tips and tools that have helped her through all of this. She also shares a wonderfully hilarious routine that she has using crystals. And she's also telling us where she's at now and what she wishes she would have known when she found herself at her rock bottom. Kia also had really kind things to say about this podcast, and it's been so special to chat with people who've been tuning in for many years. And it was really cool to hear what has impacted Kia the most from the podcast throughout the years. So I'm very grateful to hear that this podcast is a resource that helps people as much as it has helped me and continues to help me, especially because I'll be honest, I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs with keeping the show going. There's been so many changes in the podcast industry over the last few years. It has not been easy to keep it going. So I really, really appreciate moments like this where I know that the podcast is making an impact and continuing to make an impact. So thank you to everybody who leaves reviews and writes emails into us and sends us messages. It truly, truly means the world. So here is my chat with Kia. Kia, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to chat with you. I already know that you're going to inspire a lot of people tuning in. So thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here. It's very surreal to be here. So I can't thank you enough for having me on the podcast.
Yes, of course. So before we get into all the details and steps that you've taken, could you give us a little snapshot of where you were in your life before you made these shifts in career, in personal life, all of that, and where you're at today? And then we'll dig into how you did that.
Where I was lost. I was so lost. I had a bad pattern of dating not nice people. And I did that for a long time. And it brought me to a place that I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to love myself. I was dating this guy and he used to like change the locks and like lock me out of the house, and it was like it was crazy. It was my bottom, and I remember feeling crazy, and I just dove into therapy, self-help. I was a big emotional drinker all through my 20s. It kind of was my way of coping. Very functional. I've been an esthetician for 20 years. I've always been a very hard worker. So I wouldn't go like alcoholic route, but I was definitely like a number of the feelings. And that is my rock bottom. That was the worst feeling, to just hate yourself. I didn't know
Mm.
anything else. I didn't know that I was even really like hurting myself. And so I ended up breaking up with that guy, getting back with that guy, and it was bad. So I knew that I had to do something different. And this podcast was a big part of that. I remember being at work, and I listened to the breakup podcast, was the first one I ever listened to.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember just typing in, I'd never heard a podcast, self-help. And thank God this podcast popped up, because I fell in love with you guys. It has got me through so much. I'm getting all emotional.
Oh, wow.
It's,
Thank you.
yeah, it's gotten me through so much. I've learned boundaries, I've learned gratitude, but I learned skills that I didn't have at all. Learning these skills, doing therapy, listening to suggestions that have been in your podcast, listening to people like, Whitney Cummings, and about toxic people. It was like, bing, I understood. It just kind of started me on this journey of self help. And I have a life now that is wildly amazing.
It's so
It's
good.
incredible what you
Yeah.
can attract and what you can bring into your world. I have the best man in the whole world. He's my Cam. It's true.
Amazing.
He's my best friend and my like biggest supporter, and it's crazy to feel love. I've never known it. It's my first time. Which is pretty wild, because I'm 38 years old. I lived hard and fast in the beginning, and now I've slowed down, and I wake up purposeful every morning. I love your roll out of bed on your yoga mat. I have a whole routine based on like things that I've learned, and my career has taken off. I'm happy. I think that's a big thing. I wrote all these notes, and I had this whole big plan, and it's not going at all how I thought it was, but
This is incredible, and it's raw and it's real, and I so appreciate it. And we're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry, we're gonna do all the things on this episode.
that's amazing. I love all the things.
And I can't tell you how special this is for me, Kia, because doing the podcast almost 8 years now, we get emails like these kind words that people say, but it is such a different feeling being able to talk to somebody face to face. I just want to let you know, like, this is really special to me. And thank you so much for sharing what you've shared. And
You.
yeah, I really appreciate it. So your career feels different. Your relationship is obviously different with a different person. How has your relationship changed with yourself? Do you treat yourself differently? I mean, that's what it sounds like, but are there any ways that are noticeably different?
I only surround myself with good people, and that is easier said than done.
Mm.
That's been a process. But I keep my circle very small, and I have a lot of acquaintances where I live because of my work. I work right in the village where I live, and that's pretty cool. But that'd be a big thing. Is definitely I keep the people in my life not toxic, because I
Mm.
can't. I'm full. I can't ever do it again. I don't drink at all. I just don't. I don't have any desire. I don't ever plan on drinking again. It doesn't. It takes away this feeling that I have now. I wake up happy and excited, and sometimes like amazing things happen. For example, I was out with my best friend for lunch, and Humaira
Yeah.
emailed me that you picked me to be on your podcast. And it was like, holy crap. Like I'm only around people that have good energy, and I find that like good things tend to happen.
Mm.
It's really wild. That's definitely a big thing. So no drinking. I have good habits. I have good routines. I treat my body healthy.
Oh.
I do my stretching every day. I love to take my dog Penny on walks, long walks. I do ask my mat to walk me too. Because it's just nice. It's a nice break to just get away sometimes and go for a little walk.
Yes.
My life's different because I feel different, and
Yes.
that's not an easy thing to do.
That is a
Uh,
great quotable, by the way. My life is different because I feel different. That is, oh,
Thank
so
you.
juicy. I mean, it sounds like a complete transformation in every area of your life. I mean, habits, relationships, work, routine, all these things. How long has it been since you were kind of at your rock bottom, like you said?
So about 3 years it took
Oh,
me.
wow. You've done a
Yeah.
lot in 3 years, baby.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
amazing.
It's so true.
Wow.
I
Wow.
have done a lot, and sometimes I forget to give myself credit. The 3 days after I found out I was on your podcast, a woman in town that's a permanent makeup artist offered me to share a studio with her. So
So
I'm my own boss
cool.
now.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations. That's so
thank you.
exciting. What a
All the
cool
things just
venture.
keep, yeah, they keep happening, and
Yeah.
it's really, I find, staying positive even when it's hard, and the gratitude. I know your stepmom, every time she goes to the bathroom, she's grateful. So I do that too. I stole
I
it.
love it. Oh my God. And what a hot tip, right? Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, yes. I don't know Lisa, but thank you. I think of her often.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh. Could we go back to this moment? Maybe you can share your rock bottom a little bit. What was it that made you say, I have to do something different or I have to get out of here?
Yeah, sure. That was a traumatizing relationship. I had so he was a farmer.
Mm.
Never dated a farmer before. That was interesting. But I had set up a whole business for him doing farm markets. It was just the most narcissistic, gaslighting, crazy experience I've ever had. He would just do things that would mess with my head, but like intentionally. He would have like girls text him and like make me think things were going on, and like nothing was, but it was like this game that was fun for him.
Mm.
I think he was very jealous. I have a 9-year-old son. I think he was very jealous of him. I'm not sure why. I guess that's just part of some people's makeup. But he would just like be really really nice sometimes and loving and amazing, and then it was like looking at a different person. I remember a fight one time. I left to go to my friend's house to get some space and what you're supposed to do, I thought, and I came home and like I couldn't get in my house where I lived with my child and
Oh
him.
my
Like it was
gosh.
crazy. And it was I'd break up with him and he'd get me back, and it was just, saying it now, I can't believe anybody would ever do that, but that was the reality of my life. And he was a big drinker too, which was not a good mix at all. And we got into an actual fight because I couldn't do it anymore, and
Mm.
I stood up for myself. And luckily I didn't get in any trouble or anything, but it was the wake up call. Like, I don't want a life like this. I've worked really hard with my career, and I do aesthetics and learning what I do, and I was just throwing everything away good to be with somebody that I thought loved me but didn't. So I left all my stuff. I left everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I got help. I didn't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
It was probably the scariest thing that I've ever been through. I just left all my stuff.
Wow.
And I went to a 30-day program because I didn't have any coping skills. It was like rock bottom. I was like, I don't feel like I deserve to be in this situation, but that's the situation I got myself into. So I dove into, my mom, thank God, she was my number one person that was there for me. And I just did every kind of therapy you could think of. I felt really out of place because I didn't feel like I was out of control or had like a problem. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I just started listening and learning and taking advice, and figuring out what my traumas were and what was wrong with me that I'm picking people like this. So
Mm.
I did. And I have to say, I want to give you guys so much credit because you are so much more than just a couple of chicks that do a podcast. Like, you truly, truly have saved my life. I don't know who I'd be if I never just typed in self-helpless to that silly little search bar. I
Thank
don't
you.
know where I'd be right now.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Sorry,
No,
this
this
is not on my list of
oh
things
my
to
God.
talk about.
No, I mean, I just so appreciate you opening up about all this. I know it, it resonates with a lot of people, including me. I
It's hard
just,
to talk about, you know?
yeah,
But
yeah.
like I said, I don't have anything to lie about and I don't have anything to hide because I'm really proud of myself.
Oh, there was a line in your email and it said something like I've become a person I'm proud to talk about. And what was that program that you went to? Like what kind of program was it? And what were some of maybe the first big maybe breakthrough moments you had on maybe what pattern you were in?
So the program I went to, it was called Meadow Run.
Okay.
It was actually a long-term center, but they wouldn't keep me. Um, they kept
Wow.
me as long as they would, but I did a lot of codependence work. I was angry. I didn't realize I was even angry
Mm.
until I started taking classes. I was there a total of 2.5 months. It was hard, but I met people that were good people that just, had a tough had a tough childhood, had a tough parents, had a tough break in life. I met all kinds of people and it made me just really dig and figure out like what the heck was wrong. Like why
Mm.
why I was dating the same kind of person, why I was constantly hurting myself and not physically but hurting myself in ways that were numbing or
Right.
toxic or just it was like craziness. I did the same thing over for years and I was expecting like this great life. It doesn't work
Mm.
that way. So going to this place, I made myself do the work. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there the whole time, but I knew I needed to be because I wasn't going to do the same shit that I'd been doing. That's for
Mm.
sure. And
Yeah.
I wrote so much every day. I dumped everything, and I carry a notebook around with me everywhere I go. If I have a thought, I write it down just to get it off my mind. I learned how to love myself. I remember I used to walk every day, and I think the people thought I was crazy because I would just walk around this parking lot in circles. But it's now still something I do. I just walk. I go outside. It clears my head. It's
Mhm.
just something that it really helps me. I do it every single day.
So good. We had somebody on the show recently, a specialist. I can't remember who it is right now, but she said that walking it helps process trauma and stuff like that. It's almost like an EMDR exercise. So like walking and letting yourself process your emotions or whatever feelings you have coming up. Were you able to trace back certain parts of your childhood to maybe why you were susceptible to this kind of relationship,
Oh
finding
yeah.
yourself yeah. Oh, yeah. How much time do you
Oh
got? That's
yeah,
what
girl.
that's what that vibe was.
So I definitely had some daddy issues. I grew up my mom's amazing. She's a tough cookie, but I would not be able to have gotten through what I got through without her. We moved a lot. I remember that my mom had my sister. She's 7 years older than me and she helped raise me a lot. My mom worked a lot. She was always trying to better our lives. So I give her that credit for sure.
Mm.
It's not easy to raise kids by yourself. I never knew my dad, and I'm pretty sure that that had something to do with why I dated the same person all through high school. Rest his soul. He was a wonderful person, but I broke his heart. I met this guy that was twice my age, and I married him when I was 18. He was 39.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And there was cheating, there was lying, there was a lot of hurt, and I ran. I ran from that relationship because I felt like I gave up my whole youth for that person, and that is not a normal thing to do. So I think that that had a lot to do with picking these men. I think I was filling some kind of void, and it was not until I learned how to
Mm.
actually love myself, not just say like I love myself, like actually like look in the mirror and know that I love myself and I value myself and I deserve good things. Matthew was on my best friend's Facebook page where your little people are looking at your page or however that works. And I was like,
Yeah.
who's that? And we went so slow. We're still going slow. We're just creeping up on a year in October. So
Oh, yay.
being in a relationship when you love yourself is so different.
Yes.
And it's like my first real relationship. It's, and I'm getting up there. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So I was on Self-Helpless. It was the social anxiety episode. And I had sent in a quotable, and it was C.K. Lewis, and it was you cannot go back and change your beginning, but you can start where you are and you can change the ending.
Oh,
And I'm not perfect at all, and like this is an ever going work in progress, but I still have to remind myself on my bad days that you can get through this, and every day can be a
mhm.
brand new fresh start. And I don't feel like I have to have a fresh start, anymore. I just feel like it keeps getting better. And when my days aren't good, I have a great best friend I can lean on, and he actually listens, and it's amazing. And in the same respect, I don't dump it all on him. I do have like a normal best friend that listens to a lot of my crap. But it's, you need that. You need those healthy
Yes.
relationships that you don't put everything on just one person.
Absolutely. I like to call it a therabrunch with my friends. It's a little bit of brunch,
Oh,
but it's a lot of therapy when we get
I
together,
love
right?
that.
You said something so interesting. Being in a relationship when you love yourself is so different or feels so different. Are you able to describe some of those differences?
I'm not scared, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. I don't have a filter now. Like I don't have to think before I speak if he's going to get mad at me, or it can just fall out. It can just come out. It's fine. He's going to love me and support me and give me feedback in a good way. So
That's huge.
it's so huge. It makes all the difference. I just have to remember where I came from, and I have to remember how crappy things were, and just keep staying positive and keep doing all the things that I'm doing and keep trucking.
When you're in a situation and then you get out of it and you're somewhere else, it I don't know if you experienced this. It's like you didn't even realize how hyper vigilant or on edge you were all the time. Like it's
Oh,
almost something
yes.
that you got used to and then you realize how the fuck did I live like that? How was I in that environment? Did you have
Yeah.
those moments?
Sounds still get me. I'm highly sensitive. I've cried half the episode, but sounds still get me. I don't like yelling.
Yeah.
It's hard to parent sometimes because it warrants yelling occasionally, but I have to like remind myself it's not always the best way. Loud noises are definitely something that still bother me a lot. I think from all the yelling and fighting and all that. But sometimes I just look at situations that I'm in now, and like I wouldn't even be able to talk to my partner about like anything. It was always about them. And
Mm,
now it's a different life. I'm not scared. I'm excited. I know I'm loved. It's a nice feeling. It
definitely.
makes me wonder how I got through my life. I wouldn't go back if you paid me. And sometimes I'll look at Matthew and I'm just like, "Oh my god, how did I get so lucky?" But like you go back to the situations that you were in, and it's like a movie. Like
Mhm.
I can remember being at farm markets in the parking lot asking my mom on the phone, "Am I crazy? Like, am I a crazy person?" And then I learned what gaslighting was and all that. It's not my job to fix them.
Yeah. Now, when you got finished with your program, like what were some of those first steps coming out of that?
I stayed with one of my aunts um, for a couple months. So I had to figure out how to get my stuff. I got a good job. I was just bartending.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard. I moved in here. I took my course. I started doing lashes. I got my stuff together. Yeah. So it was scary coming home. I wasn't gone for long, but it was still scary. What are people going to think about me? What do I do if I see that person? Do I tell people? And I haven't shared this. Like, there are going to be a lot of people that are like, whoa, you went
Yeah.
what? You did what? You've been through what? But
Mm.
yeah, I have been through all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, I own my own house. I have a beautiful studio within walking distance from my house. I have the best clients, the best friends, the best boyfriend, and I still have hard days where there's stuff, but it's so worth it. Anybody that's listening that is like, I mean, there were times that I didn't want to be here. There were times that I was like, what is the point of this shitty, hard life that hurts and just hurts? You know, when you have little people that rely on you for everything, I wanted to show him you can do anything you put your mind to,
Yeah.
and hard work pays off, you know, no matter what situation you're in or how bad it might feel. If
Yeah.
you just open yourself up to getting better and being better, it's
Yeah.
not easy, but you can freaking do it. And I just want people to know that, because there was a point in my life that I didn't know that. And I just didn't. I was like, oh my God, I just don't want to do this anymore. It makes me sad because I could not feel any more excited when I fall asleep at night to wake up the next day and see what kind of awesome day I'm gonna have, what kind of crazy shit is gonna manifest itself. And it's just, you can have a life beyond your wildest dreams. And this podcast is a big reason that I did that. So,
Thank you. I mean, it's just such a
yeah,
powerful example for people and for your children too, to like see you do all of these things, I would imagine, and make all of these moves for yourself and for them. And what were you doing before? And then you obviously said you got a lash certificate. Like, how did all of that come to fruition? And how did you
sure.
have the confidence to make those changes or do something new?
So when I got married, that guy's mom was an esthetician.
Mm.
I was 19. I got my aesthetics license right after high school. And I rocked that for a couple years. Makeup. I worked for a plastic surgeon doing corrective skincare, and then I want to start. My divorce started, and I just needed to be back by my family. I had lived in Connecticut at the time, and I didn't stay with aesthetics when I came back to New York for very long. I ended up doing a lot of different things. I was a nanny at one point. I worked in a lot of restaurants. But when I came back from my little vacation at rehab, I knew that I said, why did I spend all this time and money like learning what I love and I'm not doing anything with it? And I mean,
Mm.
I got my license when I was 19, and I was like 35 at the time. So it changed a lot, the industry. So lashing has become a big niche, a big specialty. And
Yeah.
so I took the course and I learned how to do it. And it was great. I made my own schedule. I was kind of my own boss. And I went to a couple different salons. And last week, I went to exchange business cards with the lady that does permanent makeup to just kind of, you know, network. And she was like, so, do you want to share a studio? Yes, I do. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but yes, I do. So I ran home. I told my boyfriend, and he had asked, he's like, well, what would you, if you could have one, like anything you wanted, what would it be? And I said, I just want a small little studio that I can
Wow.
do lashes in. And I kid you not, the
Oh
next
my
day,
gosh. What did Matt say when you told him, remember when I said I wanted that studio yesterday? Well,
he looked at me and he said, "You deserve this." He's like, "If this is what you want to do," and he said, I support you, and anything you need, I have your back." So just to hear that,
so nice. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never had that ever. I mean, so like that's where I'm at. It's
Yeah.
all brand new, but I guess I'm a business owner now. It's all happening. I think I'm gonna do really good here.
Very, very
Yeah,
cool. I'm
the
excited
energy
for you.
you put out, you bring back. Like,
1000%. You mentioned that you also stopped drinking throughout this process too. Was
yep.
that during the rehab program? When did that sobriety kind of
So
come in for you?
when I came back, I went out with friends a couple months after, and I did have a drink, and the anxiety that washed over my body, I don't have words for. I
Wow.
just felt it felt wrong. I don't know. I feel like my energy is so high to begin with that now I don't let anything mess that up.
Yeah.
I try not to. I just have no desire at all. Like it feels so good that I don't want to numb it. I don't want to. to me, like, I mean, I'll hit a doobie if we're going out, like, out and doing something, but I'm not like anything more than that. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm
Right.
full. But you know, I definitely didn't do the things I was supposed to do because I didn't feel like I was an alcoholic. I just felt like
Mm,
I just didn't want to like be present for the shit show of my life.
yeah.
So it was easier to come home
Interesting.
from work and just be numb and wake up and do it all over again the next day. But that's not
Right.
healthy. I don't have like a problem not, if that makes sense. It was
Mhm.
just easier too.
Yeah.
Um,
This is, I think, starting to be talked about a lot more of we've been kind of talking about these terms in such like black and white thinking of somebody's either got a drinking problem or they're sober, but there's so much middle ground of like it's just enough they drink just enough to kind of mess with their body and stuff like that, but they don't
and
maybe
life.
technically have a problem, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
it's just there, and making a decision like that of just cutting it out of your life can be incredibly transformational, and people don't even realize it, of course, because it's so normalized. So I appreciate you
Yeah,
bringing that up because yeah,
definitely.
you don't have to be considered an alcoholic or, hit that kind of rock bottom with drinking or any substance to be like, what, I'm not going to do this anymore. Why put poison in my body when I'm trying to do all these other really great things for myself? And I definitely
Exactly.
resonate with that so much. So you've already said so many lovely things about the podcast. Thank you so much, by the way. What other tools or books or quotes or anything that you want to share helped you through all of this, whether it's in times of self doubt or helped you practically do something, anything that comes to mind?
I try to put good stuff in. I try to take in things that are positive, read good things. I love quotes. Of course, I can't pull one out for you right now.
You had two good quotes on this podcast
Oh,
already.
thanks. I just journal. I try to brain dump
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
That is super helpful for me in ways I cannot even describe. It's very underlooked how helpful just writing it down and getting it off. And sometimes I figure shit out. I'm like, oh, that's what's wrong. Who knew?
Oh, so
But,
good. Yes.
and I've minimalized my life, which I know gives you a lady boner, but,
Yeah.
like, it's so true. Not
Yes.
only my, like, shit, but, like, my life, my everything in my life, like,
Yeah.
I've minimalized, and it's so helpful. It makes things so much more easier for your brain to digest. That's a big one for me. I mean, if I'm super stressed, I'll just go through and declutter my whole house again, even if there's like not a lot to do. It's
Girl,
just
same.
those little
Yes.
things. I know this sounds so stupid, but like I love the moon and I do every time it's a full moon, I put my crystals out to recharge. I make my moon water.
Ooh, what is this moon water? Is that where you leave water out
Okay,
there?
so yes, I've become famous for my boob rocks or crystals in my bra, my boob rocks, and my moon water. So the moon water is very easy. You take a glass bottle, you fill it up with water,
Yeah.
and as you fill it up, you put your intentions into the water and you let it charge
Oh.
under the full moon. And the next day, that's the first and only thing I'll put into my body until my whole moon water is gone. And listen, you can call
Ooh.
me crazy, but I'm on Self-Helpless right now, and I can see my studio from my house. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think anybody's gonna think you're crazy. Look at all the things that you've done and all the changes that you've made. I'm gonna get me some fucking moon water ASAP.
it brings my soul so much joy that you just know about moon water and it's from me. Like it
That
makes
is
me
so
happy.
cool. Oh my gosh, I need to get a special jar for it. I'm thinking about all the
Yes.
things. I need to make sure I know when the next full moon is. I know exactly where I'm gonna put it outside. I love exercises like
Oh,
that and intention setting and stuff. It really is. There's just something powerful about taking time out of your day and focusing on something that you either want to bring into your life or you want to change or whatever, or just have being
yes.
grateful and then having a visual representation and movement and all that stuff around it. It really is so powerful. And I've experienced so many interesting, like serendipitous, things and moments because of those exercises. So I
Oh,
am a
yeah.
1000% going to do that. Can we talk about the crystal boob situation? I got so
Yeah.
many I got questions. So what's the benefit of keeping crystals in your bra? Please
So
educate me.
I never have anywhere to put them. And I mean, I wear a bra every day. So I'll like sit there and I'll like pick my rocks out for the day. Usually, sometimes there's like 3 in each side.
Oh
Do you
my
want to
gosh.
hear some shit? If I find a penny face up on the road, I'll stick it right in there with my rock. So when I finally got serious with my boyfriend, he takes my bra off and there's pennies and rocks, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
Oh my God. I was just gonna ask you when Matthew goes to like cop a feel and he's like, this is like the bag of sand situation from that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah,
What's happening?
exactly. So
Oh
funny. I
my
went to work
gosh.
one time. I work at this restaurant. The town I live in, it's a very historic old village, and there's this restaurant called the Landmark Inn, and my best friend's the chef there. And I go and I fill in sometimes, run food, do whatever they need. And I have all these rocks in my bra, and I go in, and she's like, "Bitch, why are your tits bumpy?" So now the whole kitchen knows about my boob rocks.
It's just the thrift store that is my tits. Don't worry
Yep,
about it.
yep.
Oh
The
my
best was a
gosh.
text from the owner. He's like, "I just found this rock on the floor. Please tell me it's not a boob rock." And I'm like, "Oh God, it is."
Oh,
Yep, that's my life. Those are my weird things, but it's
I
my
love
shit and it works.
I love that you put so many crystals and rocks in your bra that it's actually noticeable to other people. It's not like a tiny little crystal that you can just put in the crevice of your boob and nobody would ever know. You're like, no, I want people to know. You're the
Sometimes
best. This
it's
is so
one. It
fun.
depends on the day.
I mean, you know what? I don't knock anything till I try it. So I feel like I'm gonna have to get some special boob shaped crystals. Or not boob shaped crystals. Well, I could try that too. Some special shaped crystals for my boob. I want to like slide it right under and have it rest in that little crevice. You know what I
Yes,
mean? See how
that
that
was one.
feels. And then
Yeah.
start and maybe put one in the cleavage. I mean, it sounds like a nice little pick me up. Who knows?
It's the
So
energy. It's touching my body. It's all for the energy.
I love it. So we got boob rocks, we got journaling. I mean, we got moon water. These are all fantastic takeaways for everybody tuning
I've done
in.
my job.
You have done a great job. So for selfish reasons, I'm just so curious because I never get the opportunity to ask somebody this, but it seems like you've listened to quite a few self-helpless episodes. What would you say were the most impactful like takeaways for
Ooh,
you or topics
ooh.
or anything that comes to mind?
Okay. Was it Josh Wolf? I used to smoke a lot of weed, and now I only smoke at night if I had a productive day.
Totally
Yeah,
forgot that. He talked about that.
yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh,
love
that's
that.
so yeah.
Your breakup one was my first one. I was like freaking ugly faced crying, like shouldn't have been driving on the road listening to that episode. That was like one of the first ones
Wow.
that got me hooked. Your little snacks. I
Oh,
love your little
yes.
snacks now. I don't know,
Thank
it's so crazy. The
you.
podcast has changed through the years so much. It's like I really have been with you for that long.
Wow.
Yeah, I listen to you like a couple times a week. I'll go back because I still have some
Wow.
clients that I do like organizing and cleaning for just on the side because I did it many moons ago.
Yeah.
And that's my jam. I'll put on a self-helpless episode and I'll listen. Who else? Whitney Cummings was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I'm like Kelsey. I mean, I've been in aesthetics for a long time and I love that kind of stuff. So that episode had from toxic people to boundaries to her skincare to the pack of wolves. I mean, that was a good one for me. And then even before, like I was still in my like shit show part of my life, the Burt Kreischer when he did Sober October,
Yes.
you
Wow,
know,
you
all
have
the
listened to a lot
yeah,
of
because it's helped me so much. I relate to the way that you three were together and it was just you and Kelsey and now it's just you and I've gotten like different feels from all like the evolutions, you know?
yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I am truly self-helpless, like one of your biggest fans.
That is so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
It's like
you.
it really means the world because yeah, you know, you show up and you podcast and you put it out there and you hope it helps people. And you know, you might see comments and emails here and there, but to actually have a face-to-face chat is just so different. I can't even describe it. And it's really interesting the different takeaways people can have from the same episodes. And I think
Oh,
that's
totally.
what's so special. The things that you pull from it, maybe somebody else is pulling some other things somebody said. And I'm very, passionate
If
about
you
podcasting as a medium.
if you never drew a dick on a mug, where would we all be? You'd still be in corporate America. So thank you for drawing a dick on a mug
Hey, you're
because it
welcome.
truly saved my life.
I mean, it's the Lord's work. It's what I do, and I appreciate I appreciate the support. The fact that you've made these shifts in 3 years, I think that's a really hopeful thing for people because when you talk about where you were and where you are now, I would have guessed like, wow, that maybe that took 5 to 10 years or more. Like, I mean, that's a lot of shifts internally and externally, right? How have these changes impacted your parenting or your relationship with your kids or how you want to parent, like anything around that?
So I have 3 kids. Austin is graduating Saturday from high
Oh, wow.
school. Talon is my girl. She's 16, and then Vincent's 10. Almost. He'll be 10 in August. I was really little when I had them, and I'm a better parent now. I'll always be there no matter what. I want to be able to help them when they go through their shit. And I don't know how else to do that except for just keep going. Keep doing good things and keep being a person that I'm proud of, and hopefully they see all these good changes and they're proud of me because that's all I want.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's say somebody is tuning in right now and they're kind of in a similar situation to where you were around your rock bottom and they acknowledge that they want to make changes, but they don't even know where the fuck to start and they're having a hard time feeling hope for themselves. What would you like to say to that person?
I would say to talk to somebody about it and find any resources into whatever help you think you need, and don't be ashamed of it. I mean, if somebody's going to judge you for making you the best version of you, then fuck them. You don't need them.
Mhm.
That right there is your first sign to find different people. So I mean, that step even alone, just reaching out and finding a place to go or someone to talk to or therapy, you just do it. Just do it.
Mhm.
And it's scary, and there are people that say hurtful things, and just keep the focus on yourself and just know that you can do anything you put your mind to. It's not an easy ride, but just take that first step. And I think it is like the first step of AA. It's just your life's unmanageable, but it doesn't have to be like an AA thing. Just realize your life's fucked up and out of control and it's not working. So go do some different shit that makes it better. And even if
Mhm.
it's just listening to a like podcast or picking up a book and learning some fundamental knowledge that you didn't know, can be that aha eye-opening moment, and then just keep going. Don't forget to tell yourself that you're doing a good job and to be proud of yourself, because you can only do the best you can do. Please reach out to someone and just start, and have faith in yourself.
Beautifully said. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. This was a very full conversation. We've laughed, we've cried, we've talked about
Yes.
big rocks. I mean, I think we've done all of the things. And I just so appreciate your vulnerability and all of the really incredible practical takeaways that you brought to this episode for people and being willing to share some of those really hard times and moments in your life because that takes a lot of courage to do. So I appreciate you. I know other people listening to appreciate you. And where can people find you if they do want to, continue a conversation with you, or they want to say, "I would love your episode," or maybe they want to get their lashes done by you?
Oh, so my Instagram handle is _lash specialist. I am in Warwick, New York, which is like 45 minutes from New York City. My email is the lash specialist ny@gmail. So you have any questions, or you just want to connect, or you need a starting point or a friend or boob rock advice, anything, reach out. It's been like really special to be here. I never in a million years thought that this would be a thing, but it's all happening. It means so much to me to be able to tell you how incredibly life changing it's been for me to just listen to your podcast.
Thank you,
So
Kia. This was so
you're
lovely. I'm
welcome.
so glad. I'm so glad that we got to do this together. And
Me too.
I hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thanks. You too, Delanie.
Thank you so much, Shakia, for doing the podcast today. Feel free to send her a message on Instagram, letting her know that you enjoyed the episode. And just wrapping up with a quick announcement in the Apple Podcast review of the episode. So I invite you to join my email list. It's totally free. You can find it at delaniefischer.com. It's called the D List. I like to share different resources like media opportunities, gig opportunities. You'll hear about new podcast episodes when they go live, all that good stuff. But also, I do have a fun little book coming out in December, and I will soon be starting to share about different pre-order gifts and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you want to hear about those things, you can join my email list. I will keep you posted. You'll be the first to know. And of course, I'll continue to make announcements on the podcast as well. All right, so the review for today is from PLGEOMG, and it's a bunch of cookie emojis. I mean, doesn't get any better. Oh, this reminds me, I am obsessed with the cookie dough from, I think it's called Eat Pastry. It's their dairy and egg-free one. Oh my gosh, it's so freaking delicious. Not only if you bake the cookies, it's delicious, but you know what's fucking awesome is you can eat it raw because no eggs in it, baby. No chance of salmonella. Isn't that lovely? I grab the tub and a spoon and I just chomp it that way. They have chocolate chip cookie dough. They also have peanut butter chocolate chip. Oh my gosh, I'm just looking at this right now. I can't wait to try that. Anyway, Eat Pastry. You guys seriously try it. They're not a sponsor. I'm just telling you, it's a cookie dough that will change your life. And like I said, no risk of salmonella. Also, what is that other brand? I'm literally looking it up as I speak because you guys, this is important. Sweet Lauren's cookies. Oh, again, they have all these incredible dairy-free, egg-free flavors. So yeah, you can eat those raw and ooh, they are so, so tasty. And this one is great because it comes in like a little tray of little pre-molded squares. So it's nice for baking. You can just, break them off and put them on a cooking pan, or you can just break them off and eat them raw. Cam and I just like breaking them off, eating them raw as little treats. So anyway, oh my gosh, should we make this a new segment where you just leave a bunch of food emojis for a review and then I can just tell you my favorite brands that I'm obsessed with? Okay, let's do that. Let's see what happens next. What kind of food emojis are you going to leave next? Well, thank you so much, PLGEOMG, for leaving a review. If you want to leave a review, like I said, you can just simply leave a bunch of food emojis and we'll talk about that. Be great to be able to say hi to you on the next episode that we record. And also, switching to a more serious note, Kia opened up about some really tough things today, feeling kind of trapped in an unhealthy relationship, hitting a rock bottom of really feeling hopeless and not knowing what to do. So if you or a loved one is experiencing a mental health crisis, you can call 1-800-854-7771. They have a 24/7 support line, or you can even text 988 and chat with them over text that way. And you can do an online chat at 988lifeline.org/chat. And then if you feel trapped in a relationship, you can call 1-800-799-7233, or you can text the word START, START, to the number 88788. You can also live chat with somebody on the website at www.thehotline.org. So the phone number is one more time for mental health crisis, 1-800-854-7771. If you don't feel safe in your relationship, you can call 1-800-799-7233. Sending you all a lot of love, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in to Self-Helpless. You can find our brand new merch, Patreon community, and other fun goodies at selfhelplesspodcast.com. We'd be thrilled if you left an Apple Podcast review, shared this episode with a friend, or post about it on Instagram and tag us at Self-Helpless Podcast so we could repost you and say hi. As an independently produced show, we sincerely appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody.